Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today we are finally talking about Beastars, Episode 1, The Full Moon Chooses the Animals That Shine Under Its Light. What is up with that friggin' title? Before we begin though, I do want to let you all know that if you would like to have your name shouted out in next week's Beastars video, then be sure to share this video around on the internet and then tag me at JoJo Talks Too Much over on Twitter, and I will be sure to shout your name out in next week's video. Now with that said, holy freaking cow, it is finally time to talk about Beastars. I have been talking about this show for a while. If you follow me on Twitter, I have been hyping it up. I've been so friggin' excited. I was so curious about the show. No, I'm not a furry. I just thought the premise was cool. I thought the aesthetic was cool. I just really wanted to check it out. And I got a couple things that I want to talk about in this week's video. Namely, I want to talk about the atmosphere and visuals. I want to talk about the mystery that we deserved. And I would like to talk about the wildlife. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig into it. You know what, actually? In a twist turn of events, I want to talk about one thing before we start. That is the wait time on this one. Holy cow, Netflix, you killing me. Yes, I know that in Japan's Netflix, it's there, but over here, it ain't there yet. You got me running around the internet like it's the 2000s trying to watch this show. Netflix, you can do better than this. All right, I just had to get that off my chest. Now we can talk about the show. Okay, so with that said, I want to talk about probably the biggest talking point, or at least one of the biggest talking points in regards to Beastars, and that is the atmosphere and the visuals. Now with the atmosphere, especially at the beginning of the episode, it is heavy atmosphere. I'm talking like we got thick fogs like you're watching something out of Silent Hill. You got the deep reds of the moon like blood red, and it just gives the opening scene this like dread, this horrifying atmosphere, this perfect atmosphere for autumn. And I just loved it. I thought this was so well done. That chase scene where they're chasing, what's our boy's name? What's the Tem from the drama club? Poor Tem getting chased through the school, through the academy. And like, first of all, that academy is perfect for this kind of setting. Like the visuals of the academy, just the sprawling campus, and you see Tem like running into the school building, like running into the classroom, trying to hold off whatever's chasing him, and we see that it's some sort of carnivore, and just everything about that scene is so scary and so brilliant and just phenomenally done. It's very, I can't really say scary, right? Because it wasn't like scary, but it was striking. Like it was very like a lot of those visuals will stick with me. And have stuck with me since seeing the episode, and will probably stick with me for like the rest of the day. It's just genuinely striking to look at. The visuals are very impressive. And it's going to be hard to talk about the visuals without bringing this up. Yes, everybody is animals. I don't understand why the concept, like the mere concept now. I mean, I know why, it's the internet, but the mere concept of animal characters in anything automatically means that if you like it, you're a furry. Like, just that sheer concept is like, what? We just had Zootopia not that long ago, and millions of people watched Zootopia and enjoyed it, and you're gonna call every single one of them a furry, or did they just like Zootopia? So for me, it's the same situation of like, you're gonna call everybody who watched Beastars a furry, or did they just like Beastars? To me, I just think animal characters are cool. I wish we had more stuff with animal characters. They're fun. I see enough of people. I see people all the time. Give me something creative to look at. Give me bipedal animal characters. I'm here for it. I think it totally... Not only am I here for it aesthetically, I'm here for it because it actually serves the narrative really well. They're not just animal characters for the sake of being animal characters. They're animal characters because they're trying to make a point, and like it's part of the plot that these characters, the carnivores and the herbivores, actively don't really get along. Like that's part of the story. So if you don't like the aesthetic, trust me, it's part of the show. It actually is important that they are animals, and if you can't get past that, you think it's just furry bait or whatever the heck I've seen people say online, which by the way, silliness. But if you genuinely can't watch it, I guess I understand. You're missing out though. And you know what else is probably gonna cause some controversy around on the internet? Because I remember this was like, not even so much the furry thing, but this part of the show was an even harder sell for a lot of people, and that's the fact that this is not a 2D anime, this is a 3D anime. And for some people, that is an automatic no. However, I will counter with Land of the Lustrous. While I didn't like this show that much, I have to say that it's visually stunning, and I know a lot of people loved it. And it is genuinely a visual treat, that show is. And I would argue Beastars is way better. Why is that? Well, it's because the same studio behind that show is also behind Beastars, and you can very much tell the studio nails 3D animation, and it gives me hope. It gives me hope that we can start to see some solid CG anime in the future. I don't want all CG anime. I don't want every single show I watch to be CG. I like 2D. I'm more of a 2D guy. However, I also want to see some improvements in the 3D department. I want to see some solid CG anime. I don't want all of it to be CG, because I do think 2D is just, that's my preferred way to watch anime. But again, it doesn't help to have more. It doesn't help to have some variety. And this is solid. It's so phenomenally done. It gives me hope that Japan might actually learn to make some solid CG anime and not use it in jarring ways in 2D anime. Because, I mean, if you don't know, Dunhua over in China has been doing 3D CG Dunhua for a while now, and it looks dope. So I'm happy to finally see Japan, like, at least occasional studios in Japan, like, embracing the CG and, like, going like, you know what? I bet we can make a dope friggin' CG animated show, and they succeeded. It's just such a distinct style. The show has its own distinct, unique style, and totally stands apart from the other shows this season. And that's not a knock against the other shows this season. There are some great shows this season. But Beastars stands on its own as a very unique show. It's a little bit film noir, it's a little bit Disney's Robin Hood, which I realize just now is really showing my age. It's also a little bit Silent Hillish, a little bit school anime, I don't know. It's just got a solid kind of mishmash, unique aesthetic. And this friggin' show is just perfect for the autumn season. Like, they couldn't have picked a better time to air this show. And you know what? It's not just because of the visuals. Leading into the next thing I wanted to talk about in this premiere, that is the mystery that we deserved, because, man, we deserved a good mystery this autumn. I can't believe we didn't have that many mystery shows this autumn. I've been told that Babylon is good, so maybe I'll check out that one as well. But the autumn season to me demands mystery shows, demands spooky shows, and Beastars has stepped up to fill that spot, because, man, it's got a solid mystery right off the top. We got immediately good start. Who killed Tem, the drama class student? Who killed this poor friggin' kid? Immediately you have a solid hook, because everybody starts to split, right? You have the big divide immediately after the situation, because of course, who could have ripped Tem apart? Well, it's gotta be one of the carnivores, and the carnivores are hurt because they're out here thinking, we're trying to mingle with you herbivores, and you guys are like coming at us. So you immediately have this solid sort of like, the tension is high right off the top, but it's just not only that, the setting itself perfectly lends itself to a murder mystery. Just this huge, sprawling academy where all these students are intermingled. You have people who are friends, people who hate each other. You see a lot of those different character dynamics in the beginning, in the middle of this episode, and you see a little bit of it at the end as well. And you have all these pre-established relationships, characters who knew Tem, characters who don't quite know Tem, characters who seem kind of shady, characters who don't seem very shady but could be shady. It's just brilliant. And the fact that it's such a large campus that it could be just about anybody, brilliant. And I'm telling you, like, I actually kind of sided with both the herbivores and the carnivores, because I was like, yeah, of course the tension is high. You totally kind of, at least for me, I got both sides. If I was a herbivore, I'd be like, it was clearly the carnivores. He was eaten. He was ripped apart. Of course, that's what happened. But to the carnivores, they're like, what? We're trying to be nice out here. Why are you guys automatically assuming it's one of us? How do we not know that it was one of you? You guys, some of you guys have claws. Could have been one of you. So it's like, I get it. I get both sides. I don't quite know who it is, but I'm willing to bet my money. If I was a betting man, I'm not. But if I was, I would say that it's not a carnivore at all. I would say it's one of the herbivores. Like if I had to guess, I bet you the show's gonna swerve and it's gonna be one of the herbivores. I have my theories on who it could be. I have a couple theories, but I'm not gonna say them right off the top. But I have some ideas. I have some ideas. And the reason why I have some ideas leads me nicely into the third topic that I wanted to discuss with you all today: the wildlife, the characters of the show. The aggression, right, between the herbivores and the carnivores. Like I said, it's definitely symbolic. It's like you can pretty much sub in whatever you want. It's just people making assumptions on other people based off characteristics that they assume to be similar across the board. It's not cool that they're making these assumptions, but it's of course what they know, right? Like that's just what they assume. And you can't really fault them, but it is sort of naive thinking. And we know this for sure because we have characters like Lugosi, who's just this misunderstood lad. Like, yes, he's a big, scary, gray wolf, but we know Lugosi, and we know he ain't that scary. He's not like a monster. He's kind of a sweet kid. And his Seiyu, by the way, like, okay, Lugosi as a character, I could gush about for another like 10 minutes. I immediately was like, this boy, I will protect this boy. This boy is to be protected from the world, to be protected possibly from himself, but also from external forces. Lugosi must be protected because of a couple reasons. One being he's a misunderstood boy. B being that he is a precious wolf boy, and I will protect the wolf boy because I'm a dog person. And also because he happens to share the same name with an absolute legend, Bela Lugosi, the original Dracula. Now, I don't know if that was on purpose, but given that the show has a very sort of spoopy vibe, I'm kind of assuming that it was. I could be wrong, but I'm hoping I'm right. Also, can I point out that Lugosi's Seiyu is friggin' phenomenal. Kudos both to the Seiyu and the director because his performance is great. He perfectly balances being this sort of awkward, uncomfortable teenager while also sort of being this like noir detective when he's like talking about Lewis. It's this like noir-esque narration, but still with that vibe of this awkward teenage wolf character, like this awkward teen wolf character, if you will. And it's brilliant because, again, this show is very film noir, and that sort of noir, like, of all the offices and all the world, she had to walk into mine. It has that vibe. The whole show has that vibe. So to have Lugosi balance between noir detective and awkward teen wolf is friggin' brilliant. The acting across the board, we even have our boy Bakugo in here, but to have the acting across the board be so great is such a relief because it just adds another layer to these already unique and fun kind of characters. As an example, you have Lewis, who's like the king of the drama club. He's this stag who everybody loves, but he's a real jerk. Then you got poor Haru the rabbit, who is like unfairly picked on because the Regina George rabbit, her boyfriend kissed Haru, and they all pick on Haru, and they're spreading rumors that she sleeps around, and it's like, oh, it's a lot. And like the roommate Sally, who didn't even bother to help. You have the lamb character whose name I forgot, but she was the love interest of Tem, who's the boy who got killed, and Tem was also a sweet kid, and it just makes me upset. You have the whatever he was, like the Bakugo character, whose name I forget, but it's just, you got this interesting cast across the board, and don't think that me forgetting their names means that they're forgettable. It's just, if you've watched the channel for a while, you know that I'm terrible with names, and it usually takes me a couple episodes to remember names. But just across the board, fascinating cast, visually stunning show, great mystery. I'm just so hyped. I'm so excited. I was so worried the show wasn't going to live up to my expectations. I thought the wait for this show, like waiting for it to get fan subbed, I thought it was going to be like, I thought it was going to bum me out. But honestly, I'm just so relieved and so happy. The show is so great. On that note, everybody, I think that's just about all my thoughts. I'm sure I could keep going, but I'm going to wrap it up here so I don't go too long. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first S-rank episode of the season already. We're not even into the third week yet, and we already got our first S-rank episode Congrats, Beastars. You are the episode to beat. On that note, everybody, that just about wraps everything up. But before we go, as always, I want to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier. Calvin Atkinson, Crowbar of Irony, Dominic, Urza, Ginkotaku, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Mirth Mouser, Omni Garamond, Cell, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Somastan, Steven, Tristan, and Verdon. Thank you all so much for your continued support over on Patreon, and hey, if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then by all means go ahead and check out that first link in the description to check out our Patreon page, see all the cool rewards you can get for as little as $1 a month, and get access to our Patreon exclusive Discord. But on that note, everybody, that's going to be a video, so I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, you've probably been on the internet long enough to know what to do already, so I ain't going to tell you, but I will say that it is appreciated, and if you are feeling stressed out today, then you go have yourself a warm cup of tea, and I will talk to you all again real soon.